February. We are. I was meaning to come back a bit earlier in the year, but fuck it. I've been busy, so this is how it is. Hope we're all doing well. I should remember to post that we're live. 1 second. I always forget to do this. Nice. There we go. We've done the basics of content creation, in that I've put the post live that we are live. All right. First things first, I guess. We not doing wine tonight because I've got too much stuff to do tomorrow. So instead, we're just cracking open some cold beers with you, the lads. So let's crack some cold ones. Nice. The wine will be back in due course, but tonight is just, I have about approximately 1 million things to do. Is the voice any better? Is that better on the voice now than it was before? Just so for everyone. Yeah, I've got approximately 1 million things to do tomorrow, including write a plan for the next Wisecrack video and also to I've got to finish writing the next video on this channel on green colonialism. And then I also have to write a lecture for somewhat better. I can't go much louder without it peaking, going outside the realms of being able to actually, without it getting distorted. Yeah, the next video on green colonialism. And then I've got to write a lecture for Monday. I've got so many things to do, so no wine tonight. But before we get properly started and before we wait for folk to filter in, let's fill out this tune. it still feels like it needs something. Still feels like it needs something to drive it. Something higher, yeah. Yeah, something like that. That sounds better. How are we, how's everyone? We've got about 25 folk here. It's probably about time to get started, I guess. I've done this new thing that the YouTube has recommended me when we're starting the stream, which is a goal. Apparently, so I've reached a goal for 10 super chats in the session, and I guess they suggest an aim for when we reach the 10. So I guess as an aim, whoever's the 10th can fucking suggest something, and if it's not absurd or obscene, I don't trust you guys, then maybe I'll do it. I don't know. This is the respect I hold you in, apparently. Something that, if the goal is achieved, something might happen depending on how I feel about it, and that's a promise. I don't really have any plans for anything to specifically do today, so we're just riffing. There's plenty of stuff going on, I guess. New year, same old shit. I guess we can talk about the continuing rise of fascism with Donald Trump, which is grand. Everyone is having a great time with that. I was talking to someone the other day about just how embarrassing. Excuse me. Problem with drinking beer. Kind of burpy. The problem with being with our fascist overlords being people like Elon Musk is that it's just so embarrassing for us. It's like that he is the most powerful, one of the most powerful people in the world is embarrassing. It is like being beaten at chess by a chicken. I don't know how it's happened. I guess generational wealth and the dynamics of capital being crystallized in one figure. But still, it is embarrassing. Why couldn't the forces of inherited wealth and crystallized law of value why couldn't that have been crystallized in a chicken? That would have been nicer. It would have been less embarrassing for the rest of us. And I'm embarrassed that we have this perpetual 14-year-old, apparently fake gamer. That stuff I don't understand at all. Why you would lie about being good at computer games, and crucially, why you would care as I'm assuming like 55-year-old man. That's like Elon Musk, I guess. Why would you care if you're good at computer games? That's baffling to me. I'm not even a billionaire, and sure, I am an extraordinary talent in Mario Kart, but the only context in which I care about that is beating my friends and being very annoying. And if someone was like, oh, John's not actually great at Mario Kart on Twitter, I'd be like, oh, I don't care. I don't care about this or your thoughts on my computer game playing skill, because I'm a fully grown adult. So that's baffling to me. I don't understand that for a fucking second. So I guess we can talk about that as well. What else has been going on? Yeah, I guess the only other thing that I've been seeing recently, or one of the things that I've been seeing recently that pops into my head, is the whole Ethan Klein debacle. And you know, I've not watched that video that he put out, and I'm not going to, because I'm a fully grown adult. But it has been interesting watching the clips of it go viral, and you know, seeing this guy who I remember from 10 years ago. I actually do remember when I was first introduced to the work of Ethan Klein, because I was shown one of his videos by a friend of mine when I was studying in the US, and he was like, "Oh, this is so funny." He showed me at the same time he showed me internet comment etiquette, who is funny. And then he showed me Ethan Klein. This was back in 2014, and I remember thinking, "Hey, this might be one of the least funny motherfuckers on the planet." He was dressed in like weed clothes and was going into vape stores and I guess bothering the staff. Those were the videos that for years I associated with Ethan Klein. And you know, it's bizarre to me that guy, we have to deal with the political opinions of that guy. That's baffling to me. Like, what the fuck? How? You know, what's going on with the fucking the fascist vanguard being so deeply and inherently cringe? It's it's annoying. Anyway, let's fiddle about with this tune for a wee bit, and then we'll I guess we'll get started and talk about shit, and then I'm gonna fiddle about it, and then I'm gonna make something new, and then I'll put the guitar down and start actually chatting with yous. But it's been a while. I've not played. I've got this new pedal board setup going on, which I can't show you because I can't be bothered moving the camera. By which I mean I could show you, but I can't be bothered moving the camera. And it's nice. It's the first time I've actually used it. That's why I was a little bit late starting, because I was setting everything up again. But yeah, let's have a wee bit of fun. Right, that's enough fanning about with that one. Let's try something new. Let's get some background music going, and then we can continue with chatting. I might pop out the chat a bit actually, so I can see it better, because it's really fucking great how YouTube chat is so small, isn't it? It's like, what if I'm sitting far away from my computer actually, and then the chat is hard to read? YouTube, have you considered that? Have you considered that I would like to make the size of the comments bigger? I would like that, because I would like to be able to see these comments a bit better. Yeah, don't move the camera, you'll mess up the audio, which is currently great. Hey, the audio, nobody knows how audio works. Was talking about this yesterday. Nobody knows how audio works. Audio is just, it's a bunch of fairies who live in here, and you give them a present every now and again, and they make the audio good or bad. And unfortunately, that's the truth. And the reason that bigger YouTubers have better audio is because they can afford better gifts for the outboard amp fairies. It's unfortunate. I guess that's the reality of the situation, is that people who can afford better gifts for audio fairies get better audio, and that's why we have to overthrow capitalism. All right, let's get for anyone who's not been here before. The way that these streams tend to work. Normally I'm drinking wine, but today there's a beer. We drink some wine or beer, play some tunes, ask some questions, talk about shit. Normally I get worked up about something or other. I'm not sure what that will be today, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what I get worked up on. And carry on. We've got a whole bunch of stuff since the last stream, which was way back in December. I've seen lots of movies since then. Hi Sinan, how's it going? So I can chat about that stuff. Lots of terrible things have happened, and yeah, on we go. So any questions or anything that you'd like me to talk about, just shove it in the chat, and we will. great. Man, we're already out of tune. That's great. Tell it's so long since I last played. All right, let's chat away while I'm tuning this. Honestly, cannot read the chat from this distance. I can read the chat. It just takes me. I'm just gonna have to. You have to cope with me just peering at the screen. All right, there we go. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, this is cheesy as fuck. We're definitely gonna chat with this cheesy as fuck shit for a while. Yeah, let's get all the effects on, let's make this cheesy as hell. Yeah, there we go. I like that. That's good. It's cheesy as hell, and we're sticking with it. And you're right. There's absolutely no way I come back to chat until I'm happy with the music. That's what happens. You have to deal with it. Watch me noodle about until I'm happy with something. That sounds like something I would have written when I was about 16 and thought it was the fucking coolest thing in the world. Well, you know, maybe I would have been right. So, anything going on? Anything anyone wants to chat about particularly? We have... I feel like we covered the Ethan Klein stuff. The horrible, you know, he's a horrible misogynistic Zionist fucking piece of shit. And that seems to be about as much as we need to talk about it. So, you know, that's done. Tick that off. Fucking weirdo. No, actually, you know, the actual one thing that is worth talking about regarding to the Ethan Klein stuff is the prevalence of the word content nuke. Now, I have never heard this phrase before yesterday, or before a few days ago, and I'm really upset about it, because it's a horrible phrase, and I keep seeing people referring to content nuke, and I would really, really like that people not use that word, not for any political reason, it's just cringe as fuck. Why is this a thing that people are talking about? Who's decided, oh yeah, that's a great phrase, let's pick up on that one, instead of immediately pointing and laughing at whoever was the first person to come up with it? Bad phrase. Stop using it. I was told China hit its 2030 climate goal yesterday. Hey, if that's true, then I would be very pleased with that. I've just been back from Wales, where I was doing a lecture on degrowth for this small master's course based at this place called the Centre for Alternative Technology, and there was a lot of sort of morose attitude there, because a lot of people were obviously well aware and well abridged of just how terrible things were. It was really interesting. It was a really good place to visit, and the lecture went well. And one of the students came up after, a guy maybe in his 50s maybe, and was like, "Oh, you describe yourself as a communist. That's very interesting. There's no one represents me." And I was like, "Comrade, have I got the ideology for you?" I remember an observation ContraPoints had in one of her since deleted videos. There's a lot of leftist academics that are also musicians who left music. I'm aspiring to be one of them. I guess that's true. I would suspect that probably the sociological overlap of that fact is probably that a lot of leftist academics are, including myself, from quite middle class backgrounds who can afford music lessons, and that's probably one of the reasons why lots of left academics also were involved in music. That would be my guess as to that specific phenomenon. God, I've not watched a ContraPoints video in years either. Yeah, sorry, Sinan. If I was the one who introduced you to the phrase content nuke, I apologise, I guess, but you know what they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. And now that we both know that phrase, that means, I guess, that it's half as annoying, or that twice as many people previously are now annoyed. So, and that is good, I think. 6th of February is Waltangi Day here in New Zealand, which was yesterday. Founding document, government is currently actively undermining it and allowing privatisation, handbook and policy flood. That sounds bad. I also read that initially as 6th of February is Waluigi Day, and I got excited for a second. I was like, there's a Waluigi Day? And then I read the rest of the comment and was immediately unhappy. So that's unfortunate. I had a brief moment of joy where I thought, maybe there's a Waluigi Day and people are here to talk about Waluigi. We've got the Jehovah's Witnesses of Waluigi in chat, and I was excited. I would if Waluigi Jehovah's Witnesses came to my door, I would invite them in, and it would be a sort of situation where they'd be excited because they've gotten into a house to talk about, I guess, Waluigi. And then by the end of it, they'd be like, please, we need to go. And I'd be let's just talk a bit more. Where does he come from? Is he the opposite of Luigi? Is he Wario's brother? And do Wario and Waluigi's parents hate each other in the way that Mario and Luigi hate Wario and Waluigi? And who was born first? These are the sort of questions that I would be interested in really getting into the nitty-gritty details of the Waluigi, I guess, scriptures that exist, presumably. Sorry, but no, Waluigi Day doesn't exist. Waluigi Day is actually April 1st. That's also my mum's birthday, so I guess make of that what you will. Waluigi is an idea, a concept, not a man. Okay. He's Wario's boyfriend. If he's Wario's boyfriend, though, that brings up some troubling implications. Because in many ways, they're sort of the shadows of Mario and Luigi's, or is the whole sort of Mushroom Kingdom Mario and Luigi situation incestuous? And it wouldn't be like the first time that a royal kingdom was incestuous, as we all know from the fact that the royal families are all incestuous. But they tended not to be like brothers. Well, as far as we know, I'm sure there were lots of brothers who were, because the thing about royal family is that they're fucking nasty. Oh, so they're the opposite of Mario and Luigi, so the opposite of brothers is lovers. Okay, I like that. I like working with the opposite of brothers as lovers. I think that's a fun narrative. What are the implications of that? Oh, that's great. Wisecrack has just joined us to we were discussing if someone. So I misread a comment talking about Waluigi Day and got excited about a potential kind of Jehovah's Witness situation, but instead of Jehovah's Witnesses coming to my door, it was Waluigi evangelists. And I was interested in like the scriptures behind Waluigi and figuring out exactly what Waluigi is. Then someone suggested that Waluigi and Wario aren't brothers but lovers, which sent us down the incest path. And of course, Mushroom Kingdom being a royal family, we have to assume there's a certain amount of incest within the frames of the Mushroom Kingdom. And then we started discussing whether or not the opposite of brothers and lovers is lovers, and what that means in terms of sort of the ontology of brothers and lovers. And yeah, we're really digging into the intellectual chat really early today, which is, that's back. We're back on our game. We're so back, and this is how it works. This is, for anyone who's new, this is exactly what we talk about for 2 to 3 hours. It's going to be this and nothing else. We've tried to solve the Waluigi mystery before, but we've never succeeded. Who has? We know more about the surface of the moon than we do about Waluigi. Yeah, a beautiful mind. Yeah, sure. Well, we'll go with that. Oh, there's a commenter here. What's your name? Dieter Thunes saying, oh, I saw forbidden illustrations, as if you weren't hunting them out. Nobody just, oh, I happened to see these forbidden illustrations of Wario and Waluigi. I definitely wasn't seeking them out. Don't look at my search history that's just Wario and Waluigi with like 9 different fucking positions in the search bar below it. I know your fucking game. Don't come to me with your innocent fucking claim of not knowing what you were up to. You were after those images. Those images came to you because you wanted them. You put that energy out into the world, and that energy came right back to you. And I don't know why I've singled you out as a commenter, but I know you're talking shit. This is my equivalent of that viral video that's gone round of that comedian who got really mad at a heckler that people seem to be really exercised about, but I watched and I was like, oh, I don't care about this. This is my equivalent of that. So clip this, and then we can start an immense amount of discourse about whether or not I was just, a terrible woman comedian or a great woman comedian. Either way. Although I don't want to steal discourse from a woman, that's really unfeminist of me. Fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about today. This is what happens when I have no plan. we have no idea what we're talking about today, and nothing. Hey, Sinan, that's all good. We can keep chatting away. Oh, Mary, I guess this is not. I've had half of a beer. I mean, this is just me getting back into the swing of things. We are not even close to Mary yet. This is warming up. We'll get to Mary at some point. No, I'm not gonna share that thought. Just looking up Sonic feet pics. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Oh, of course. Of course, if you're on Patreon and you missed the Discord link, just send me a message and I'll send you a new link. I know that the links expire after a day. There's no, you don't have to ask if it's okay to bother me. Of course. I guess this would be a good time as ever to promote the part of Patreon's $5 and up benefits, I guess, is a Patreon link. So if you want to do that, you can do that. And yeah, this is about the limit of my skill with promoting myself. Now, it was interesting. On Wednesday, or yeah, yesterday. God, yesterday was such a long day. The audio is dropping out. It could be. So I turned it up. It could be that it's peaking. I don't know. Fine over there. So I don't know. It's again audio. Nobody knows how it works. There's fairies in a box. Nobody knows it. So if it's not working, there's really no way to fix it aside from asking the fairies very politely. So I don't know. Audio is fine for some folk. Audio is not okay for others. Another bit of evidence that nobody knows how it works. Alright. Yeah, so I was doing this lecture. It was quite funny. So, oh my Christ. So, stressful day. I woke up in the morning. I'd initially planned to get up super early, like 7, like go to the gym before 9 in the morning, and do my gym and then get a train over to Wales. That didn't work because turns out I'm not a fucking freak. And I woke up, my alarm went, and I looked at it, and I went, yeah, the chances of me going to a gym at this time are less than 0. So I went back to sleep, and then I woke up in a panic, because I was like, oh shit, I'm going to miss my train, I need to go. I got all my stuff together, quickly, gulped down some coffee and some porridge, got out, all my stuff had been packed, checked the door was locked there, because you could, I live in a house with an asshole cat, and I have to child lock the door. Whatever. Left the house and got to London Euston Station, the worst station. And as soon as I got off the train, I'm in this panic. I was like, Christ, I've got like 5 minutes. I need to sprint up. I realised I am an hour early for this train. So that was grand. That was the first thing. Then I got a series of emails about problems that were happening in this course I'm teaching, because here's a fun thing. The course I'm teaching, which I started on Monday, I don't have a contract. I don't have any institutional access or credentials for the university. And that means that I can't actually engage with the students properly, or engage with the learning environments, online learning environments properly, which is grand. Don't have any information about term times or things like that. I never got that information, so I had to root around for it. So I had to deal with all these problems, and that was stressing me as well. And I got onto the train, and started writing the lecture that I needed to give the following day, and it was fine. The journey was fine. I liked the contrast in the journey between seeing Birmingham. I got a great picture of an amazing image of this sort of decline and increase and kind of like the simultaneous decline of a city, with its sort of the investment that goes into certain types of buildings by just going through Birmingham on the train. So like there's this great sort of moment where the train was going past this old building, maybe, it could be early 20th century, late 19th century. It was in the middle of this dirt field, and all around this dirt field are glass, clearly expensive glass Like tall buildings, wide buildings, huge amount of funding for office space gone into those buildings. And I was like, that is an interesting bit of city geography for the neoliberal age. So that was fun, and then got through to Wales, and it was beautiful, very nice. I got to the train station, and I thought, oh, the bus. It says bus will only take about 15 minutes to get up. So look at that. I got to the bus station. The next bus was an hour and a half away, so I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll walk. So I walked the 3 miles out of this town towards a quarry where this institute is, this centre that was set up in the 70s that's sort of about like an ecological, self-sustaining kind of like organisation. And I got up and I was wandering through these sort of back roads towards it, and it was lovely. It was very nice. I met some ducks, which is always great. I like meeting ducks. They always have so much to say, so much wisdom to give you, mostly about bread, but they're always a good laugh. I like a duck. Past the ducks, Google Maps sort of told me to go up this sort of side winding road, and at this time twilight was sort of setting in, and you know that time of twilight where things start to look a bit creepy. I started walking up this side road, and these sort of empty abandoned looking cabins started appearing out of the din, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm fully walking into a Wicker Man situation here. At this point I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna turn back, because let's face it, I need the cash, but I am gonna get stuffed into a giant Wicker Man and burned alive. That's just what's gonna happen. So, I made it through. Eventually I find the place and I find the institution, and it's very nice. It's extremely it's quite modern. It's quite the lecture hall's this sort of interesting room with like a stage and all this, like all the fanciest technology. It's like, okay, this is very nice, and everyone there is extremely nice. But I did kind of have a vibe that was sort of between, not from like the people, but from the arrangement of the building. It had a vibe that was sort of between a cult and a youth hostel that you go hiking in. So I, stayed there for the night, got some nice food, gave my lecture, and then came back the next day. And everything was fine. I met a dog. On my way back, I went to a second-hand bookstore and met a dog. I opened the door and the bell rung, and I heard footsteps coming down the stairs, which I assumed was the owner, and then a big old Labrador came out, and he was nice. I assume he wasn't the owner, because we still live in an age filled with discrimination when Labradors aren't allowed to own bookshops, which I think is outrageous. Disconnected. Let's see if it reconnects. Okay, we reconnected. Fine, we disconnected there for a second. So I stepped off the train, the underground at the station near me. The moment I stepped off, I got a text from my flatmate that just said "so," and I was like, "Fuck, what the fuck is this cat done?" I knew from that "so" that this cat fucking done something. I didn't need any evidence. I didn't need any indication that this was a cat deal. I just fucking knew it. So, cat got into your room while I was at work. It's like, fuck. I'm sure I locked that door. I have a firm memory in my head of checking that door was locked. So I get in, plants strewn everywhere. He'd picked up a cactus with his mouth, because he hadn't tipped the cactus. I know he hadn't just tipped a cactus out of its, like, off the shelf that it was on, because the base of the pot was still there. He'd picked up the cactus with his mouth. Why? Who can tell? Why would you do that? He'd thrown it on the ground. He'd tipped up. I had to hoover all my fucking guitar pedals. because he tipped up a whole lot of plants over them as well. Luckily, he hadn't tipped over the bookcase, which is not the most stable thing in the world. So he hadn't killed himself, which is good. But he did have the fucking cheek to square up to me. As if I had been in the wrong for going into my room where he'd been chucking around my plants. So that was fun. That's the a consolidation of the past few days of my life. But next, we've got been working on. I was working on the way back. I was working on the next video on green colonialism. It seems to be going in a slightly different tone than normal, which is interesting. I'm quite pleased with how it's looking so far. But hopefully, I'm aiming to have that script finished. Cats don't like it when you leave or do anything. I don't think this cat had any concern about me leaving. He was upset that he was no longer in my room eating my plants. So the thing he likes to do, he likes to eat spider plants, which cats can eat, and cats like them. But he seems to have tried all the other plants as well. Like he likes eating the spider plant, and there's another spider plant on the top of the bookcase, and that's the one that he was really going after, which is dangerous. But he also seems to have been testing the other plants to see if they were as nice as the spider plant, which none of them were, and it seems like when he discovered that a plant wasn't as nice as a spider plant, he's thrown it about. It's like, no, this isn't fucking spider plant. Get this out of my fucking way. I think that's what's happened. I think if I'm going to psychologically analyse that little prick, that's what's going through his head. Anyway. So next we've got the green colonialism video. Was hoping to have it written for tomorrow. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to manage that. Might be able to. I'm going to see how much I can get done. Because I do also have a plan that I'm working on for Wisecrack. That I need to get done for tomorrow as well. And then some teaching stuff on top of that. But I'm going away. I'm going up to Edinburgh next week. So I was hoping to have it filmed before I went away, and I could spend and could have edited it while I was up in Edinburgh, but it looks like it might not come out until maybe the end of February now, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? But yeah, that's the next video. And after that, we'll see what we come up with. Whether or not I want to dive into the fascism video or something else. Maybe another book review. The thing is, like, I do want to do a book review of Bastani's Fully Automated Luxury Communism because, it's funny to rag on shit books. I am worried that I might have to read it again, and that is putting me off. Because, like, I am pretty sure Bastani follows me on an alt, so that because he doesn't like me. And he likes trying to laugh at me, which is, never ideal for him. And but I want to make sure that what I'm saying when I'm making fun of it is accurate. So I might maybe I'll just read segments of it again. It's so long as well. It's such a long book, which, like, for saying nothing, for having nothing good or relevant to add to any conversation, it's so long. I'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll just skim through it again, because fuck, it just sucks. Anyway, let's get another bit of music on. As ever, any questions, fire it in the chat. If I miss them, you can always tag me or super chat, and I'm more likely to see it.
fucked it up. It's fine, we're just gonna leave it.
I'm gonna be back in 1 second. I'm gonna grab another beer. Yeah, the visible withering of Mitch McConnell is fun. It's nice. I think he provides a very valuable service for like existential dread, because like, sure, life is impermanent, and we all face the void of oblivion and the inherent meaninglessness of our own existence, for, you know, the very short periods that we are conscious in this plane of existence. We sort of scuttle around and do our bits and bobs, and you know, it can be sometimes, when you think about the sort of limits of life and what that actually means in terms of the sort of cosmic void, it can get overwhelming, and you think, oh god, we need to turn to something else, because I can't take looking at this void. And the thing about Mitch McConnell is, like, seeing him wither away and die, it's sometimes nice to think, yeah, it's good, he's gonna be committed to the meaningless dust as well. And isn't that nice? Isn't that nice that an old fucking turtle like him is gonna stop crawling soon enough? Cheerful thoughts from John Streams. Oh, bollocks. Sorry, I made myself a bit depressed there. But isn't that nice? I know. Mitch McConnell's criticising Trump. I think that there's in a list of people that I don't give a shit about whether they're criticising Trump. Mitch McConnell's pretty high up that list. Oh, you think the sort of fascist that you actively support and played a hand in getting elected, you know, is a bit rude. He doesn't seem to care for the institutions of government. Is that so, Mitch? Who could have seen such a thing coming, Mitch? It's amazing. You know what has been talking about, not to disclose any trade secrets about what we're going to make the next video about, but one thing that has been really annoying me, and the reason that actually
I'm going to decide. I pitch this idea to Wisecrack if they're still in the chat. One thing that has been really annoying me is the way that so many left figures, socialist left figures, have been reacting to Trump's attack on diversity, like DEI stuff, equality and what's that? The acronym has escaped from my head. The DEI stuff. So many various left-wing figures coalescing around Vivek Chibber, and incidentally a lot of the degrowth figures as well. Ryan Grimm, I saw, talking about how it's actually really good for the left that Trump is attacking these DEI situations, equality and equity and inclusion. These DEI programs, because for some reason which remains undisclosed, I guess, these programs are things that are a block to working class unity. Now, I'm not saying that diversity quotas and stuff like that are revolutionary, and that their inclusion within the apparatus of the state is good for racial and gender equality and sexual rights in a sort of revolutionary sense, because obviously not. Like, one of the major problems with these things is that they are inherently ineffective in a lot of ways. But the way that a lot of left-wing figures have been responding to this is a real attack on the nebulous concept of woke, and this sort of like that's kind of what I'm gonna plan out tomorrow and write for Wisecrack in the coming weeks is the notion of the war on woke, and what that actually means from a left-wing perspective. Because in a lot of these cases, as we've seen already, the attacks on DEI programs are fundamentally attacks on just labour rights and an ability to fire people based on particular demographic qualities, the colour of their skin, their sexual orientation, their gender identity. And for a left-wing figure to be completely inattentive to the ways in which these policies are being attacked as clear and direct attacks on labour rights, indicating a massive ramping up of discrimination, state-led discrimination, is just fucking stupid. And I cannot believe just how gullible or cynical a lot of these people seem to have become, having confused a criticism of a inadequate and in some ways, sure, harmful aspect of corporate co-option of equality goals, confusing that for what is clearly attacks on labour rights and ramping up of discrimination, and mixing that all in with a general weird attack on something called woke ideology, a thing which has no meaning, that has never had any meaning, beyond just an appropriation of a black slang for being aware of the forms of racial oppression to which you are subject, and expanding it into anything from, you know, making a cartoon character gay to equality legislation and legal discrimination again on employment grounds. Is that all within the woke ideology? to which these figures are attacking. And I have to say, I have absolutely no time for it. There's certain people who are absolutely just rabid about it. Just absolute, like, left-wing people. The Jacobin crowd, the Tribune crowd, specifically, interestingly, a lot of the anti-degrowth crowd, who are also anti-woke ideology, which is interesting to me, and I think what's the cause of that connection is so obviously being anti-degrowth in a lot of cases is a way to uphold like conditions of life for specifically privileged global north groups. And obviously within the global north there's great racial diversity, but when you homogenize and when you make arguments like that, you end up homogenizing and excluding certain people within the sort of implications of your argument. So you wouldn't say it out loud, but the implications of a lot of the arguments that are against degrowth is about white working class, and by implications there's a certain, which is to say there's a certain racial ordering and hegemonic inclusion that these anti-degrowthers operate under. A commitment to whiteness, basically. So on that ground, it is unsurprising that almost, I think without exception, everyone that I have seen talk about anti-woke ideology from the left has also been an anti-degrowther publicly. I think that's quite an interesting and telling connection between these two forms of discourse. I think that's quite interesting, and I think they should shut the fuck up, frankly. Oh, this is the thing, yeah, a lot that, like, I'm, people who, it's a similar sort of thing as, back in, 2019, maybe earlier, maybe later, people will talk about class reductionism as, like, and denying the sort of position of class reductionism. And the class reductionists are a weird crowd in themselves, because their understanding of class is always so narrow, and like, they're class reductionists not in the sense that they reduce everything to class, which they do, but that's less important, I think, than, or at least it's the other side of the coin to what they do actually, which is reduce the concept of class to something which is necessarily exclusionary of people who aren't white, or of ideas which go against the grain of particular, what's the word, for want of a better word, privileges of whiteness, racial orderings of class systems, and gender orderings as well. And it's almost quaint hearing people talk about class reductionism again, because we put that to bed because it's obviously bullshit. It's not, as much as these people are claiming to be Marxists, it is not consistent with Marxian ideas on class, and it's just boring. It obviously doesn't, like, class inflects and is co-produced by all these inherently connected features of society. So these people railing against it, they're always just talking shite. Yeah, anytime someone ends up saying, yeah, but no, this part of fascism is good for us, actually, I find it hard to take any future analysis from them seriously. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no sense in which you can re-co-opt the attacks against trans people specifically, or the attacks against diversity initiatives as anything other than just fucking learn how to operate politically. Well, that's you're not going to co-opt this from the right. You don't get the right on board by like you're not getting these people to agree with you. You're not tricking anyone into being left-wing by saying, oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, so I also hate it when that black person seems to get a job that you think you deserve. Yes, that's a very interesting point. You feel excluded because of this. We also agree with that. And you're not, like, get off the floor, you fucking dog. You're not gonna get these people on your side. You're gonna lie with the dogs, get fleas, get bit, and then you're gonna find yourself on the march with them, thinking, how the hell did I get here? Because you don't understand the direction of travel or how these attacks are fundamentally part of a wider attack on anything on the left. Those guys fucking annoy me. See, I'm not even sure Windy saying they understand class exploitation. I'm never actually sure if they do. I'm never sure if these people really understand the intricacies of what exploitation means. I would be interested in hearing some of their actual analysis of what class exploitation and class formation actually looks like. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of their views are limited and to the point of being incorrect in a very strict Marxian sense. I don't believe that they are particularly attentive to actual Marxian analysis, to be honest. You know, a lot of the Jacobin law, their solution always seems to be some sort of variant of workerist humanitarian nationalism. Workerism, the long shadow of workerism, continues to be felt, and that sort of nationalist bent of it as well. Yeah, a lot of them, frankly, have never really gotten over. In the UK, they never really got over the collapse of the post-war consensus. Similar, like in America, they never really got over the collapse of the FDR consensus. And at some level, it's just like, you know, get over it. We're in a different era now. Things we can update our analysis, improve our analysis, and we're not going back. There's never going to be the kind of politics that was made available for workerist nationalism in the global north at this point. Like, I was talking about this, some streamer was talking about how Trump's tariffs were going to work in terms of bringing back industrial, like, bedrock to the US. It's not gonna fucking happen. There's no way that the kind of manufacturing that was made possible pre-globalization, which allowed the formation of mass industrial workerist nationalism in the US, in the UK, in parts of the global north, that's not coming back. The difference, the global labour arbitrage, the difference between the the costs of reproduction of workers, and therefore the wages that those workers can be bought for, and therefore the value of the commodities that they produce is always going to be astronomically lower than anything that can happen in the US, unless there's such an extreme decline in living standards that we have a completely different political problem to deal with. Like, if living standards drop to the levels that they are in places where massive global manufacturing has been exploited to, then there's going to be a bigger problem for the US to deal with. And we've seen, like, as Chinese living standards have increased, and as their sort of sub-imperial influence has grown and become challenging to the US, they have themselves been exporting production to different lower wage economies. So even in China, you're getting kind of a speed run in places of Rust Belt politics that exist in the US, because this is just how it works, and it's not going to come back. You're not going to bring that back to the US. So I find, like, the thought, there's almost like a pathological need for some people to argue that Trump is right in certain things, and it's like, you don't have to make that argument. You don't have to say, oh, Trump is actually right about this. This will bring back industrial policy. It's not. It won't. That you don't have to justify why you don't like it, why Trump would have been better, or why it was legitimate to not be supportive of Biden and Kamala Harris. It was okay to not be supportive of Biden and Kamala Harris because they were actively committing a genocide, and there's no need for you to morally justify yourself on those grounds. That's fine. You don't need to justify yourself by saying Trump's right about things. Trump's also wrong. He's a fucking fascist. You don't have to fucking prove it to yourself. You absolutely do not need to hand it to them. Yeah. But there seems to be a sort of need for some people to kind of justify it to themselves. Which is... I can hold two ideas in my head at once. It's really easy. It's really simple. And that's what I do every day. Like, even in terms of things like, from a sort of more progressive perspective, well, like, a lot of the Green New Deal politics was built and predicated on an assumption that we could bring back a kind of workerist industrialism of the post-war era through green investment. But that wouldn't have happened either, because production in general, and specifically green production, is massively less labour intensive than it was in that era. That's a consistent feature of capitalism, of capitalist technology that we have, that is ongoing forever. It doesn't mean that we get free time, and it doesn't mean that things are better automatically. It's part of the domination of capital is the technological efficiencies provided, because it throws people out of work. So, we're not getting back that kind of industrialism in the global north for a number of reasons, and one of them is that increased technological efficiency, and specifically the lack of labour intensity that exists in a lot of green politics. Sorry, not green politics, green industrialism. So this workerism, mass industrial workerism, based around a sort of idea of your man in his flat cap and his high-vis jacket, his fucking industrial job, is going nowhere politically. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. You have to organise on a different kind of idea than that. In the UK, we are a service economy, and we have to come to terms with that as a workers' movement, is that those workers are not, gonna be the fucking white van man or man with a flat cap going down the pits and going down the mines. There's different subjectivities at work which require different forms of organisation. And we're not just gonna fucking dream of the 1960s and get it fucking back. It's not how it works. Do I believe in neo-Ludditism? What do you mean by that? I believe in a consistent analysis of technology under capitalism as laid out in Marx's work, where technology arises from the social relations of production and exists in those cases to further dominate labour and to further reify capital by making production for capital, not production as such, but production for capital, more efficient and for throwing out lots of labour into work, into the unemployed sphere, acting as a global reserve of labour, driving down wages, all these sort of things. Technology within the capitalist system always arises from the relations of production and cannot be removed from it. That's why AI looks the way it does. That's why, production and technological production looks the way it does. A good example, Andreas Malm points out a good example of this in one of his books, where he talks about how the Industrial Revolution and the inclusion of fossil capital wasn't just instituted because it was automatically better than previous water production, mill production, in terms of the actual production process, but that the inclusion of coal as a transportable material meant that industrialism could be moved. It could be moved from specific locations to places where labour was more available, and it could be used to dominate labour in certain ways. That's one of the reasons why coal took off as a major source of energy during the Industrial Revolution, kicking off the Industrial Revolution, really. And that's a really sort of important point to keep in mind when you're thinking about the development of technology and the development of efficiency in productions. Sinan still with the OG Luddites, yeah. I mean, they get a bad. I was talking about the Luddites in my degrowth lecture, actually, which would send Lee Phillips into a spiral of I guess, anger and frustration. These neo-Luddites, people like Lee Phillips and the anti-degrowth lot are productivist, sort of technological Prometheanists. They believe that all this technology will necessarily lead to an emancipation of the working classes, which is not the view of Marx, and is fucking stupid. Hey, that sounds great. Burrito and beer. We love it. Oh, Caliban and the Witch is great. Am I from No, I'm not from Kilmarnock. I'm from Midlothian, from south of Edinburgh. Alright. You've had a rant. Let's make some disco music. That's how this works. We do you get a rant, and then I get to play some disco music. We all happy with that? What? Let's do. Yeah, let's do E. Okay, it's not disco, it's David Byrne. That's close enough. I don't know, keep your flares on. Sorry, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. We're gonna have to go again. We're gonna have to go again, and we're gonna try and get to disco this time. I'm sorry. I almost just... what song? That's that's Danger High Voltage. I can't do that. That's just Danger High Voltage. Okay, so that's almost Stevie Wonder, but we'll work with it. Nope. Okay, we're gonna start with something simple. We're just gonna get one note, and we're gonna build up from the one note and see what happens. Build it up from the one note and see what we're doing. Okay. We got something. We got something. Okay, that's right, but I need to work on the timing more. Fucked up again. We're gonna get this right. And you're gonna sit there and you're gonna fucking watch it and it's gonna be painful. We're gonna get it right. Fuck me. Right, we're gonna start again, and we are gonna get it right. Okay. We're gonna do the chords first, okay? You can tell it's been a while that since I've been doing this because I'm fucking it up. Yeah, I do need to do the thing first because... Okay, so what's happened here is that I've come up with a weirdly... a chord sequence which has, I think, 6 bars per round. And it's difficult to count that out for the in the riff. So I keep playing it at the wrong rate. So I tried playing it without the sort of riff underneath, but it didn't get the vibe of the chords right. So I'm might have to start counting, which is a fucking nightmare. Let's count this out. 1, 2, 3. It's 5 per per round. Okay, so it's well, we're gonna do 5. We're gonna count out 5. We fucking did it. We fucking did it. got there in the end, didn't we? Fucking hell. It started out somewhere, it went somewhere else. We got the counting right eventually. Hey, who'd have thought counting to 5 is difficult? Don't clip that. Alright. What are we chatting about? Yeah. Don't give up. Eventually you'll get there. You know, talking about that, it was nice to see, I was glad to see Doechii win at the Grammys. That was nice. Someone who didn't give up managed to break lucky in the end after a lot of hard work. Just like Kermit, I can only count to 4, yeah. Kermit and every drummer. That's not true. Some drummers are good. Oh my god. Here's something that I can talk about. So, last week I went to a jazz show. Now the reason I went to a jazz show is I quite like jazz music. The Doechii Colbert performance was incredible. So good. So was the Grammy performance. Also, very funny that Kendrick won on his diss track, his Drake diss track. Just as a long-time Drake hater, years I've been a Drake hater. I like to see that. It's nice to see that. I've always thought Drake was shit. The Doechii Grammy performance is really good. So is Chapo Roan's. So was Sabrina Carpenter's. All good performances. Charlie XCX's not less so. Is it our Drake? I mean, all the time since I've heard of Drake, since I've known of Drake, I've been a Drake hater. Always thought that he was shit. Never fucking just shite music, shite effect on rap. Like the rap influence that he had was detrimental. Benson Boone, see, I did not like that guy at all. That guy gave me... I've heard that song, I've heard snippets of that song from TikTok, and I think that I saw someone refer to it as Imagine Dragons vibes, which is 100% correct. I did not like it at all. I did not care for his whole vibe. With the horrible little mullet and his horrible little moustache and his stupid backflips. Did not care for that man. I saw people refer to him as people were like, this is definitely not a straight man wearing this jumpsuit and I looked at the video and I was like, no, this is the straightest. This is like a prototypical fuckboy. This is a fuckboy who emerged from the fuckboy fucking primordial soup. Mullet intact. And further fuckboys spawned from the mullet. His whole vibe, I was like, nah, I'm not having this. And not in the way that a lot of people are like, oh, Benson Boone, they're just making people up. I've never heard of that. You see people talk about it. It's like, yeah, it's because you're getting old. Like, you're not in, you're 35. Of course you've not heard of this person who's famous with the teenagers. You need to get over that aspect. We're all gonna die. It's fine. Look at the void. Mitch McConnell's getting there first. It's all fine. Don't worry. It's fine that you don't know who he is. What we do have to look at is that he is a fucking primordial fuckboy. That is the critical issue. With his fucking backflips. Fuck does he think he is? And his shit music. Taking things away from the wonders of Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter and Doechii. Imagine Dragons as prime 8-year-old boy music. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm not a fan. What was I talking about? I completely lost track because I started thinking about that primordial fuckboy. I cannot remember. Oh, jazz. Yeah. So, you know, prior to the primordial fuckboy, Benson Boone is a dumb name. Benson Boone, not a good name. And I get that aspect of being like, oh, they're just making up people, because that is a Muppet's ass name. Benson Boone, the name only an American can have. That's the most. It's like when you know. There are some names that like there was a guy in Trump's previous cabinet called like Chad Wolf, and you're like, yeah, only Americans can be called that. No one else on earth is called Chad Wolf or Benson Boone. This is an American This is American as shit. Again, distracted by Benson Boone, and not in the good way. Jazz. So, went to a jazz concert last week. I quite like jazz. I often go see, one of my favourite bars in Edinburgh is the Jazz Bar. I love the Jazz Festival. Good times. So I was like, oh, this will be fun. We went along. Full disclosure, I had a fairly significant chunk of edible prior to the gig. So we got into, it was like in this warehouse in Greenwich, which, you know, I'm aware how that sounds. I'm self-aware. I know that sounds so wanky. But let me talk. Let's not judge. I'm aware I just judged Primordial Fuckboy so hard. But let's not judge me, because that's the most important thing, is not to judge me. It was in a warehouse in Greenwich. It's fucking freezing. Got there. Sort of first sign that things might not be ideal. All white audience. Never a great sign with jazz. Never a great sign. Especially when you're in a warehouse in Greenwich. All white audience. I sat there, sort of coming up underneath this heater. And it was a pleasant enough environment. I'd got myself a red wine because I didn't have a berry or a cigarette and I needed to look like some form of prick. So I got myself a red wine with my jazz. I was sat there and the band came on. Second sign that nothing's going well. Band were all white. Never a great sign. All white band. Like, okay, well, maybe, you know, we'll see what happens. Then, then the jazz starts. I'm gonna pause the music for 1 second. The jazz starts. It's like three young guys and a kind of youngish woman. From what I guess, what I figure is that it was likely a music college group and some people who were doing jazz, and you probably had a singer who was helping with who was encouraged to go out and gig with a band. The band all knew each other. They seemed to have chemistry with each other. They knew what they were doing. They were very tight, very accomplished musicians. the singer did not know the names of the band, which I would say was maybe a third bad sign. All of them were accomplished musicians. I don't want to impugn the technical ability of all these people. They were all wonderful, accomplished at their music. But the music started, and it started like this. Bear in mind, I'm quite baked at this point. It started like this. The singer goes up to the mic and sort of starts off, and it's kind of coffee shop music, and I'm like, uh-oh. As this thing starts going like, I'm like, oh, fucking, I'll get my latte out. And then the singer comes up and she sort of gets the mic and she starts going, and I almost exploded inside with the effort not to laugh. The kind of I sort of looked down and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Trying not to explode with this, what can only be described as coffee shop scat singing. It was something else. And it went on. And the seats that we were on were wooden and uncomfortable. So I was shifting around a lot. And like this, trying to make sure that my ass didn't get bruised by these harsh stools. Like, where am I? Church? Fuck off. Give me a cushion. This is not a Protestant church. This is a jazz venue. And, oh God. And every single song, it was like, who's gonna love you today? Who's gonna love you today? Scooby-Doo-Bop-Bo. And then like every song there was a double bass solo. And I was like I was laughing at myself for a good while because I just kept thinking, oh, is this song gonna have a double bass solo? I wonder if this song will have a double bass solo. Every song had a double bass solo. And like, I don't mind a double bass solo, but there's only so many times you can hear something that sounds like this. Boom, 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 boom. Every song. My music's going on again. And it went on and on and on. And like when you're slightly baked, time's slower. And that can be nice sometimes. It's like you're enjoying a song, time takes ages, and you can be like sort of melt into the music and it feels nice. This wasn't one of those times. Time was going so slowly. And over an hour in, the singer turned and said, "This will be the last song." I was like, "Oh, thank God." And then she completed the sentence before a small break, and I went, "Oh God, oh Christ." And I was like trying to hold it together. This was an hour and 10 minutes, and it was like, how? This is longer than a headline set. And with a real band. Someone I wanted to see wouldn't be playing for this long. We'd be on to encores by now. Thankfully, we decided to leave at that point, which was a bit embarrassing because nobody else was leaving, so we just had to sort of had to walk out with our heads held high that we'd seen enough. We'd done enough in terms of our jazz experience. That's longer than Alien Ant Farm went on. Yeah, nobody should be going on longer than Alien Ant Farm. I think that's the rule in music, is you never go on longer than Alien Ant Farm. It was a challenging experience. But we got home and I I can't remember what I did that night. I think I watched some dropout comedy shows and sort of expunged it from my brain. Met a puppy, which was nice. It was stoned in an escape room is definitely, yeah. I guess that if I was stoned in an escape room, I would find a seat and I would just be sitting there. I would not be doing anything. I'd just be sitting my ass down. Oh God, it would have been perfectly fine if we were at a bar or a coffee shop and it was on in the background and you could tune in now and then, like, and listen now and then, like, oh, this is easy listening. We don't have to pay attention. But the focused attention, and it's a good thing the seats were hard, because I would have fallen asleep if the seats were soft. But the focused attention really did hammer home how samey all of this was, and how none of it was. It was all technically good, but none of it was, enjoyable. It was some of the lower end of jazz that I've seen. I'm gonna say, if I was to be kind. Yeah, that's why they didn't have a cushion. But I think on that, since it's just the first stream of the year and we're warming up, I think I'm gonna call it a day on there. It took us a while to get into it. We, chatted about Waluigi and Wario and their sordid relationship. But we actually did get some some actual fun, some valuable conversations actually happened, which I'm surprised about because, again, I had no plan. I never do. But somehow we managed to have a decent conversation. So, thanks for coming, listening to me fiddle about with the guitar for too long, and listening to me ramble on about my bad jazz experience. And don't clip that bit of me saying that I can't count to 5, because I'll be very upset. Aside from that, thanks for joining us. I guess, as ever, you like what I do, feel like subscribing and sharing and all that stuff. I assume everyone here is a subscriber, but aside from that, I've got nothing else to say. I will leave the music on for a little while as we go for the as we sign off. So I'll see you. It'll probably be a video out before the next stream. But if not, I'll see you next stream.